For today's video, we have united every single island as part of the country called Island. They're the Islandies. So we've got the Island East Indies and the Island Greenland. So welcome to the world of Island, where all of the islands are Icelandic. And we're going to see what happens when, well, all of the islands are unified as one to take on the rest of the world. So I figure two things are going to happen. Either the islands are going to conquer the world, or they're going to be overdevelopment and release everything, get attacked by everyone, and be unable to defend their tons of islands that are all over the place. They've already released some places in Iceland, it looks like, and the Emirati down on Madagascar. But I don't know if they'll be able to hold it together. I would love for them to be able to. I want to see just like Island Europe, which would make zero sense, but be so perfect. But you look at, like, they have part of China, so, like, if Ming declares war on them for that, and then, like, France says, hey, we want England, and then Kilwa wants Madagascar, and Spain wants the Dutch East Indies, which I don't know why I call them the Dutchy, they're just the Indies. And so you run into this situation where they could find themselves at war with a ton of places. And it also doesn't look like they're really being super expansionist. I mean, they've got places like Japan. I mean, there's a lot of development there in Europe, or in England. There's a lot of development there. So it is a big country with a lot of force behind it that I would love to see them, like, be like, all right, China, you are now an island. But I don't know if that's going to happen. The Timurids are really doing solid. I love to see an active Timurid. Ming just exploded. I am so sorry, Ming. I mentioned your name. I know I shouldn't have. I apologize. I won't do it again. I'm gonna do it again, and they're gonna implode in a future video. Cuba's confused. Why is Cuba in northern South America? That's not where Cuba is. Did they release the islands? Or is that island Cuba? I don't know. I have no clue what's going on. Sweden is just gonna form the country that is when all of those come together and become one. Wow, this is what happens when I try to record two videos back to back. My brain just forgets how to speak talk. Anyway, it looks like Austria got the Netherlands, the Burgundian inheritance, and they're going to use that now to just eat France. Cuba continues to expand. You know what? I'm curious if we're not going to see as much colonialism because of the fact that, one, the islands, so you've got things like England is completely gone, and also on top of that you've got places like Spain and Portugal, which normally get a little bit of a jump because they start the game with islands in the in the Atlantic Ocean. Those islands do not belong to them. Those are islands, and so they're not going to have that sort of early game jump. The East India region is just completely falling apart. I don't know if they're just like losing places there. Also, the Emirati have actually managed to kick them out. And that's one of the things I think they're going to run into a problem with some of these islands, especially a place like that where the Emirati were able to sort of pop out. And then if they declare war, they occupy everything. Then you just hold the coasts, and any landing party that lands, you just wipe them out as they land. I think that they're in a spot there where they could really easily, some of these islands, be able to retake their territory back. The Mughals have formed, which is always a nice, I don't know, there's something about that dark green, like the Ottoman green, I'm like, it's kind of gross. Portuguese green, I'm like, I'm not a fan. But the Mughal dark green is just so nice. Even like Russian green, it's like, oh my goodness, we see so much of this, I don't want more. The island English Isles continues to just kind of sit there. Cuba just changed color. So Cuba is literally not Cuba. I think Cuba is still island Cuba, and Cuba just is now South America, basically. French Canada is doing really well, which is surprising because France isn't. Not really sure where they're getting the funding for that, but you do you. The Ottomans aren't doing a whole lot either. They did take out the Mamluks, but that Adal is really powerful there on the Horn of Africa. It'll be interesting to see if they can hold off the Mamluks. Depending on who the Mamluks' enemies are, that Austria is really powerful. The fact that it's got all of Austria, all of Hungary, it looks like they also got Bohemia, and they got the Burgundian inheritance, and have taken a lot of France. I mean, that is quite possibly the most powerful country in the game, just by the sheer amount of development that they have. But that's where the AI is probably not going to be super smart because they, well, got rid of all the personal unions and took the territory directly. A human player with the start that this Austria got would probably have world conquest by now. That would have been absolutely nuts. And islands are officially starting to fall apart. It actually looks like, is that the Isles? That dark green in Scotland that's now getting eaten by Scandinavia. But I think that's the Isles. I think the Isles popped out of Ireland to start taking the British Isles. This is very confusing. There's a lot of islands going on. I'm not really sure. As far as territory that the islands have left over, I think it's just England, and England is gone. I think it's just Cuba, and I don't even think they have Japan anymore. They might have a couple of places. They might have Taiwan, and then Greenland. They even lost Iceland. Great Britain just formed. It took them a while, but they finally got there. Spain, I love that they just have done nothing. And the natives, again, that is absolutely wild. The amount of native games that we've had lately. I don't even know where Cuba came from. Like, to be completely honest, I don't know. Because I would have told you, like, oh, it was a colony that broke apart. I don't know if it was a colony that broke apart. Like, that was just Cuba just sort of formed and decided to just conquer everything. That is absolutely fantastic. Lithuania is pushing into Russia a little bit. Huh. That's surprising. I think Austria also is pushing into Scandinavia. Yeah, Austria is strong. Too bad they weren't able to push back the Ottomans. That would have been nice. And that's going to bring us to the end with a giant creek and a giant Cuba and an unstoppable Austria. Let's take a look. Well, the islands still control Greenland, so this must be where their capital is. Nope. It's this tiny little island off of Madagascar is ruling also islands in Greenland and basically every small island left. Somewhere along the lines, Kalka formed. That Adal did really well. I don't know where Portugal ends and Kilwa begins. Alright, someone in the comment needs to explain this to me. What in the world are the Mamluks doing in South Africa? I love how Greece exists and owns none of mainland Greece. This Austria is both horrendously border gore and amazing. This here is the province of Akureyri. It is the capital of Iceland. Next to it is the province of Reykjavik. It is part of Cuba. Giant creek. Cuba did take back Cuba at the very end. I was going to say at least the islands still have Hawaii, but nope, that's just Hawaii. They do still own Midway, though. It's got 12,000 rebels on it, but it's technically still theirs. Religiously, it's sort of about what you'd expect. You've got your Protestants, you've got your Catholics, you've got your Orthodox, you've got the fact that I made the island Zoroastrians. Cuba makes zero sense to me. Why is there Icelandic culture where Cuba sort of originated from? I am so confused by what Cuba did this game. Dynastically, the New World said, yeah, we're not doing dynasties. It looks like Austria and England both have the same dynasty. Well, we got a little bit of Louisiana with 41 development. I can sort of understand the Russian invasion of Ukraine now, because it turns out that there is a 60 development province just sort of in that region there. I think that might be one of the most developed provinces in the whole game right now. Just did a little look, and I could not find a province with more than 60 development. That is the tip of the world right there. Our 8 great powers are Revolutionary Austria, unsurprisingly with almost 5,000 development. The Ottomans coming in second with 4,000. The Mughals with 3,200. Cuba with 2,789. Shun with 1968. Creek with 1949. Portugal with 1766. And Bengal with 1546. And with that, once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Do make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit them. We are still on the path to 1,000 subscribers. So if you are around, if you're here and you haven't already subscribed, make sure to do so, and you know what? Tell someone else to do it too. I appreciate all of you guys. If you have an idea for something else that you'd like to see, if you have a country you'd like me to make, something you'd like me to put into EU4, let me know in the comments down below, and I will see if I can make it happen. And who knows, you might show up in the next video. I'll see you then. Wreath out.